Okay, guys, sorry for not getting back to you. I've been in the hospital for 2 days. I went to get my script and got in an accident with a Lyft driver. I posted that, and it's just been crazy. But let's get right into it. This is why I was in the hospital. Um, I wasn't feeling well on Wednesday, or was it Tuesday? Anyway, whatever. I wasn't feeling well, and I went to donate, and I got really upset talking to someone on the phone. We'll call him Calvin with a K. He got me really upset, and then they told me your pulse is too high, you can't donate. So I was like, fine, whatever, I'm done. And I was on my way home, and I was going to Walgreens because, God, I have such an afro. I was going to Walgreens because I was like, I need some melatonin gummies, you know? I'm talking to the pharmacist, and all of a sudden I start getting drenched in sweat, like just pouring down. He's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I feel like bad because like you start seeing black dots and you get dizzy, and that means badness is coming." And he's like, "Oh my God." He's like, "Go take a step in the lobby and have a seat." And I'm like, "Okay." As soon as I turn around, boom, done. I'm out, passed out. He says I'm having seizures. I wake up to him squirting Narcan up my nose, or Narcan, I guess. I don't know what the fuck it's called. And I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, your lips are blue. I thought you were overdosing." I'm like, "I'm not." And so then I pass out again, and I wake up to a bunch of firefighters around me. Of course, whenever I have firefighters around me, I never have makeup on. Not that they're gonna like fall in love with me, but still, you know? So anyways, they're super sweet and everything, and they like tell me to lay down and just calm down, and I'm like calm, but I'm going in and out, and it's just really scary. So they get me in the ambulance. Super nice dudes, super nice. Heads up to the Tucson firefighters. And they bring me to the hospital, and I remember the charge nurse saying, "Her lips are blue, her lips are blue." And they're like, "So?" And so she's like, "We don't have a room." They're like, she's better when she's like laid down. Sounds like a lot of my ex-boyfriends, but and she's like, "We don't have a bed," just being a bitch. So they're like, "Fine, give us a chair." So they give me a chair, and one firefighter is holding it back, and the other one is holding a like standard chair to put my feet up, and they like stay there for like 20 minutes because they're just so sweet. And they leave, and she's like, "So what's your poison, Miss Sains? Like, what's your poison?" I'm like, "What's my poison? What?" And she's like, "Heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine, what is it?" And I'm like, "Bitch, only thing in my system is marijuana, and you have my blood, so go test it." And she's like, "Oh, I'll be testing it. I just wanted to give you a chance to come clean." And I'm like, "Well, I just did. I have marijuana in my system." This fucking bitch. And she's like, "Okay, just being a ugh, but you know, it's Tucson. My lips are blue. I get it, you know?" So then I wake up to her, and she's like, "Oh, Miss Saints, like, wow, like, there's no drugs in your system, just marijuana." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I told you." And she's like, "Okay, well, we're gonna admit you." And like, I'm like, "Wait, because a minute ago you're gonna give me fluids and release me." She's like, "Well, that was before when I thought you were on drugs, but since you're not, we're gonna admit you." And I'm like, "Wow, you're such a gem. Your bedside manner is so amazing." And they admitted me. We did tests. We did urine. We did blood. I mean, there were bodily fluids flying everywhere, literally, from this one nurse, which is fine. Like, whatever. It's my own blood. Like, what do I give a fuck? And oh my God, it was just so crazy, so crazy. So they do a CAT scan, an MRI, and they come and tell me that my brain is fine. And I'm like, "Really, my brain's fine?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, damn, I wanted to say, like, "Can you send this paperwork to my therapist, please?" But I didn't. And, you know, the whole ER, super overwhelmed, the whole hospital, just the whole staff, super overwhelmed, super great. Heads up to the hospital staff, because you guys are fucking troopers, man. Complete troopers. Like, if I could have took a video of what I heard and saw in there, it would blow your fucking mind. So they transfer me to a room, to another room, and I'm like, my leg really hurts, right? And she's like, "Oh no, your leg's fine." And I'm like, "No, my leg fucking hurts." And she's like, "Well, we'll do like an x-ray, blah blah blah." Like, just fucking bitch of a doctor. So she's like, no, your leg's fine. I'm like, really? Because I can't walk on it, and I'm not making this up. So what are we gonna do? Anyway, she's like, no, your leg's fine. And, you know, your scans are fine. Everything's fine. I'm gonna give you an antibiotic. And I'm like, well, then why do I need an antibiotic if everything's fine? And she's like, I'm just gonna give you one. And I'm like, whatever, bitch, just let me go. Like, at this point, I just want to go home. You know, I couldn't even record in the hospital. I remembered my charger, but not my charger like box. And this hospital was like kind of old school, so they didn't have like USB, you know, plugs. So at that point, I just wanted to go home. But I still couldn't walk, and I was still in a lot of pain. And I was like trying to tell the doctor, like, hey, yo, I can't walk. I'm not making this up. She's like, just go home. And I'm like, fine, whatever. Maybe, you know, maybe it's me. Maybe I have to be a tough bitch and just tough it out. Maybe I'm being a fucking pussy. No, I wasn't being a pussy. She calls me like 2 hours after, and, well, not her, her nursing assistant, and says, Miss Sains, yeah, Dr. I don't want to say the actual doctor name, but she failed to review an x-ray of your leg, and you have 2 torn ligaments in your calf. And I'm like, really? I told you guys I was in pain. And she's like, yeah, so if you want to come back and get crutches, you totally can. And I'm like, you're such a gem. How the fuck am I gonna get there? So I was just like, oh, thanks, but no, I'm good with you guys. And yeah, that was it. Like, I had a lot more to say, but it's just been such a crazy, just fucking craziness that I just can't even like compute myself right now. I went in a lift to get my script, and we got in a car accident. I posted that video, and right now I'm just gonna hibernate in my fucking little chamber, and I'm not gonna leave for like 3 days. And I guess just stretch my leg out or Google about how to heal this shit myself. So yeah, that's what happened.